shows her best time in the 200 free, even though she was in the consoles. Of course, that winning 400 IM was just a fabulous race between her and Alex Walsh. And as we've mentioned time and again, she will be in the open water competition when we get to Japan. I mean, we'll talk a lot about Katie, but there you mentioned Erica Sullivan. Of course, Katie Grimes. All three are in the top 10 performer-wise in the world. We talked about the performances, but Erica's the fifth fastest performer in history. Katie Grimes is in there too at 9th.
Katie Ledecky working her way to a familiar location ahead of the field and routing. We'll see how she fares here. We mentioned her world record history from this pool from a little over 5 years ago. And in the 800 to start off this meet, she was threatening with a quality effort there. It ended up being her third best time all time and her best time in that event since 2016.
Well, you know, in track and field, a lot of times the greats move up in distance. In swimming, it's just the opposite. You're usually moving down as you get older. But it seems to me she's better in the distance events now than the shorter distances that she's been so dominant in the past. Not that she's world class, obviously, but the 200 and 400 just seem like sprints for her now. I think her best events are obviously the 800 and the 1500. And we were talking about it the other day. I think she would be the very best in the world if she ever decided to tackle the open water side of swimming. Open water, the 10K is in the Olympic Games.
And the woman that is chasing her right now in second spot will be there in it, and that is Katie Grimes. She was 5th in the 10K open water event at Worlds last year. Mariah Denigan, who's next to Grimes in lane 6, she, like Katie Grimes, is on the 4-member U.S. Open Water team for Worlds this summer. 2 women and 2 men, Brennan Gravely and Joey Tepper, who will be there in Fukuoka, Japan, competing in the 2 open water events, a 5K and a 10K. In 10K, 10,000 meters in swimming. It makes me...
I'm tired just listening when you say that. In open water.
Yes.
Not like they're doing it in the pool, which would be horrific in itself. But yeah, they're doing it in the open water. Looking forward to that competition when we get to Fukuoka. You know, so many people have talked about Katie, and you know, I think what she does so well is her consistency. Obviously, she's able to maintain that focus, which is so difficult in distance swimming. But if you just look at her stroke count, when she broke that world record, when she went 15:20, between 400 and 1400, that's 1,000 meters, Jason. Her times were 30.60 to 30.99 per 50. So think about that. That's 20 50s, all within 0.3 of a second for each 50. That's consistent, right? She kind of pops it out there the first 200 or 300. And of course, her stroke count will start to narrow up a little bit at the end, but it's unbelievable how consistent she is and has been throughout her career in this event.
Again, this 1500 in this session is the last of the timed heats. Again, swimmers only swimming this once here during the meet. So that time you saw on the board, up there is the time to beat. Of course, Katie Ledecky has a time in her history, the world record, that's almost a minute better than that time to beat. So no doubt she's going to exceed it, you would expect, if history holds to form for someone that has not lost a 1500 in over a decade.
Just looking up the results real quickly. On the women's 400 freestyle, that time she went out in at the 400 would have been 4th in the 400 freestyle, going out in a 1500. Just 39 strokes here, I'm kind of counting, and And that's the other thing. She never, ever takes more than 40 strokes. When she's on, never takes more than 40. I mean, the first 200 or 300, yeah, I get it. In the last 50 or 100, she shortens up, so tempo starts to increase. But she's so good at that, grabbing the water. Good, steady kick behind her the entire time. So good at creating the different energy systems that is so desperately needed in a 1500. You have to rely on, you know, a completely different feel for the water after you start to settle in, and then all of a sudden you have to speed up again at the end. The beginning, the end, the middle, and she's able to adapt so well. And again, let me say these consistent splits right now. 59.4 on the way out, right, Jason? No problem. And then this is what we're talking about. 2.3, 1:02.3, 2.3, 2.7, 2.6. It's pretty good. Pretty good, buddy.
Remarkable. And to be able to keep that consistency all alone in solitude here in lane number 4. You wonder, Rowdy, when the last time she swum a 1500 in competition outside of the center lane.
Well, not only outside the center lane, but to have any kind of competition, so to speak. The World Championships last summer, she won by 14 seconds. The Olympic Games was actually pretty close. It was 4 seconds. Erica Sullivan, you mentioned, won that silver medal. That's about the closest I've seen her swim this race against anybody in years. And it's kind of obvious because you're talking about Lotte Friis being a 15:38. That's 18 seconds behind her lifetime best.
And you'll remember when we were here watching her set the world record in 2018 here in Indianapolis, Rowdy. And again, at a Pro Swim Series event, she won the 1500 by 49 seconds.
I will never run out of the superlatives, the exclamation points of Katie Ledecky and what she has meant to this sport. Not only in the pool, you see Anthony Nestle up in the right-hand corner. Amazing coach down at the University of Florida. What a system of incredible athletes across the board. Certainly in distance freestyle, what he's been able to provide. Got Bobby Fink coming up in the 800 in a little bit. So many other greats, Kieran Smith among so many great swimmers. But she has, you know, I think shown the world what's capable in an event like this. You know, this is an event that's not for the faint of heart, and we've got 4 teenagers in here. And I think a lot of that is because of Katie, because they've seen what she can do. They've shown, she has shown the path. 8:11, 8:15, excuse me, at the 800. That would have been second to Katie in the 800 by 5 seconds. 8:20 was second in the 800 here. And even in the world of swimming right now, 8:15 is the 3rd ranked time in the world, Jason. That's in the 800. It's ranked 3rd in the world. She just flipped at the feet on 8:15. Oh, excuse me, check that, I'm looking at 2022. The entire year of 2022, she would have been 3rd. 2nd in the 1500. I mean, 2nd in the 800 this year. Only behind, can you name the person she would be behind this year?
Herself?
Yeah. Oh, boy. Katie Grimes, and that's Kensey McMahon. Running a distant 2nd and 3rd, but again, not taking anything away by saying the word distant. Everybody runs a distant 2nd and 3rd behind Katie, but Grimes has just had an incredible last year and a half. Going to be a great representative for the United States when we get to Japan, certainly in the 400 IM. Open water, and there she goes, right there. Another one having a good swim is Kensey McMahon, just behind. There she goes, right there. You just saw her pass Katie, making a move to third place. That NC2A champ you mentioned earlier has had a great. Kensey McMahon has had a top 8 finish in both the 400 and the 800 here. Swimming really well, the 23-year-old from Jacksonville, Florida. And Alabama, Roll Tide woman.
Again, short course bronze in the 1500 for her last winter. And transitioning to long course, again, NCAA champ. The 1650 in yards in the college season. Katie Ledecky certainly had her time at Stanford in her college days, and then the transition to Florida, Rowdy, willing to go out and seek some other ideas and some other training partners to continue in the quest to find another level.
Going back to the 800, you know, you set marks and what you're looking for. 8:15 world record split was 8:11 by Katie. Her 500's another good barometer to kind of look at. She's 5:09.3 the first 500, 5:10.4 the second 500. That word consistency just keeps coming up. The word focus keeps coming up. And the other thing that I love about Katie that is almost impossible to do and have in this sport, in every event, in every stroke, is to stay healthy. I mean, I'm not talking about the flus and colds, the sickness that she came down with a few years ago as well. I'm just talking about the physical makeup of the body and to be able to stay healthy. I mean, it's virtually impossible. You can ask any swimmer out there, and they're always telling you of the aches and pains and some severe injuries they've suffered through swimming. Yeah, I get it, we're not football or anything, but a lot of injuries can happen in this sport, especially somebody that's been at this at the very top for 10 years, 11 years.
And if you think about it, 2 factors, Rowdy, essentially have kept her already gaudy Olympic and world medal numbers down. One is the illness you talked about. She didn't swim the 1500 at the 2019 Worlds. She's won it the other 4 times she's attempted it. And not being an event, the 1500, before the last Olympics.
Right.
If it's in Rio, potentially, she's a dominant force there. So you add a couple more to that for someone that already in World Championship history with 19 medals, excuse me, 19 golds, 22 overall, as the most by a female swimmer ever, pushing past Natalie Coughlin. Only Michael Phelps and Ryan Lochte have more in the history of the sport. Ledecky seems poised to grab a handful more coming up in Japan in a few weeks.
Her work ethic. I mean, you know, during his prime, obviously, Michael had a work ethic unlike anybody else. But she pushes herself to where it is not even sustainable for others. Yeah, Bruce Gimmel told me once that, you know, her coach, when she was a younger swimmer, coached her in Rio, or excuse me, in London, said she fails spectacularly in practice. That's the word he used. And it's just, she's figured out, though, what can be sustained. And she likes it. I've said this over and over again. She loves the pain. I never loved the pain. I hate it.
And your pain usually was short.
My pain was short. I can't stand pain. I love the feeling of after a practice, but I hated it during. She likes this. She's hurting right now, and she's loving it. Here we go. That's the bell right there.
Jillian Cox, who had a super swim earlier this week, was the top finisher, 16:18.40 from the previous heats. But as you might expect, Ledecky is going to sail on by that time by a bundle. Let's see where it slots in to all of those previous times that she's posted in her career.
Well, Jason, she's been 15:37 this year. She's gonna blow by that. The second fastest time in the world this year is 15:51.
Crowd here in Indianapolis trying to bring the legend home here for a third national title here, the Phillips 66 National Championship. Always a treat to watch the best bring it home, and Katie Ledecky surging her way to another impressive win in the 1500. How about that time? 15.2964 seconds, and that is the fastest time in the world this year, exceeding her own number by 7+ seconds. Waiting on second place, and it's Katie Grimes, the Olympic silver medalist from, or excuse me, the world silver medalist from last summer, sliding in there in second. Kensey McMahon, good swim for her in third. New personal best for her by about 2 seconds. Erica Sullivan, silver medalist from the Olympics in Tokyo, ends up at fourth. Denigan there in fifth. Claire Weinstein racing home in sixth. 15-year-old Kayla Hahn bringing it in lane 8. And Michaela Mattis rounding out this field in the 1500.
Coach Nesty, you can smile on that one, buddy. That's a great swim, man. Now it's 6 times that she's been under 15:30. How about these 500s, guys? 9.3, 10.4, 9.9. That's 5.093, 5.10.4. And her third 500 was faster than her second 500. Almost as fast as her first 500 with a start. Ah, the greatest. The greatest.
Katie Ledecky takes the title again here in the women's 1500 freestyle. Katie Grimes, second spot. And our winner is with Kira K. Dixon.
Katie, congratulations, the fastest time in the world this year. I know that you had some reservations last night about the 400, but what are the thoughts on tonight?
It's amazing what a morning off can do. Yeah, I just wanted to finish on a good note. I really don't like ending a meet with a bad swim, so I just really wanted to have a great one tonight. And that's, I think, the first time I've been under 15:30 since before the pandemic, so I'm really happy with that.
Well, something else to be happy about. With this time, you now own the top 15 times all time in this event. How do you continue to find the motivation to have these performances?
I have really great teammates and coaches around me every day that keep that motivation high, and I just can't speak highly enough of everyone that's supported me along this journey, and there's a lot more to come.
Yes, there will be, and everybody loves that. And speaking of more to come, you're about to be a leader on this world's team. With everything that you've seen, how impressed are you with how this team is coming together?
I'm so impressed, and I'm so excited that a lot of young swimmers are going to get the opportunity to swim internationally for the first time. I think that's such great experience going into next year with Olympic trials in Paris, and I'm excited to see what they can do. I think sky's the limit for Team USA, and we're going to go crush it in Japan.
Yes, you will. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Katie Ledecky ready to help lead Team USA at the Worlds coming up in Japan. With her guidance for some of her younger teammates and with her normal gaudiness in the pool, we'll look at the results overall here from the various heats of the 1500. But to no surprise, Katie Ledecky atop the heap. Again, the legend winning yet another national title here in Indy.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the award ceremony for the women's 1500-meter freestyle. Presenting the award for the women's 1500 freestyle is the president and CEO of USA Swimming, Tim Hinchy. Finishing in third place with a 16:07.78 from the University of Alabama Swim Club, Kensey McMahon. Your runner-up with a 15:58.34 from the Sandpipers of Nevada, Katie Grimes. And your 2023 Phillips 66 national champion with a 15:29.64 from Gator Swim Club, Katie Ledecky. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for the medalists in the women's 1500 freestyle champion, Katie Ledecky.